Hey everyone, for today's world exploration I'll be looking around Agrabah, a world you visit around halfway through the game. It's a sizable one and of course based off Aladdin, which is my favourite Disney animated movie, so it's a world with a lot to like for me. Let's get to it. Okay, here we are in the peddler's shop, and there's not a whole lot in here obviously, but there's some assets and stuff, and there's also a couple of things, like there's a green trinity to get up to a chest. And that's something you probably notice when you first come here, but you can't do straight away. Now we have little hanging objects, we have bits of wood and pots and little bottles up there, just random little assets. I know I tend to look at the most boring things sometimes. I don't really know why, because of course there's a broken pot. I just kind of like how KH1 has so many different assets. Like it all feels kind of unique. It doesn't feel like it's repeating too much, so I do like that. And obviously there's interactable things. I mean, look at that. There's a pile of rugs on what's usually a normal box there, but you can't lift that one, obviously. You can lift and you can break these, as you can see. Get a lot of money out of that, actually. Huh? Oh, wow. See, look how much money came out of that one. Yeah, so if you need money, there's that. And as you can see, I'm using, of course, the Agrabah Keyblade, which, what's it called? Wishing Lamp in this game, or is that the second game? 3 wishes? Yeah, 3 wishes, I think. I think Wishing Lamp is the second game. But yeah, if we go out here, we can see... Oh, Agrabah. Very enclosed. And yeah, if we look over here, we can see one of the stores, one of the many stores, of course. In the back, you can see like a 2D texture to make it look like there's shelves back there. So if you look closer, you can tell it's not 3D, but that's fine. There's a jar with something yellow in it. And of course, there's various foodstuffs that Agrabah has. If we look over here, we can see, of course, the watermelons, which everyone knows from the movie, of course, that one scene. And some things here, I'm not really sure. There could be some dates. I'm not sure what the big white stuff is, but it's there. And yeah, we've got the whole town part that you're in here, it's very like castle looking. Well, I'll go into more of it at the end. There's just something about this world that, I don't know, feels like it's something missing. But yeah, this place is obviously very enclosed. It's got this very gamey design. Like, I think this is one of the worlds where, while it does have a lot of the stuff from the movie, obviously, and it does look like a place, I think it is also a very gamey looking design. And we can see when we look around the walls, there's all sorts of little details and textures. So yeah, we can obviously climb up. There's usually multiple levels of these rooms. And if we go right to the top here, you can see there's all sorts of different entrances. And of course, we've got these little things to platform across, and they fall down, so you can't stay on them for too long. They're just little gamey things like that. But yeah, not a whole lot to look at in these rooms, I guess. You might have been able to see just there, you can just about see over, and sometimes I do wish you could get out there. I mean, there is actually a glitch you can do here to kind of go out of bounds, but I'm not going out of bounds in these videos, that's not really the purpose. But yeah, here we are in Aladdin's house now. And again, it's not really exactly like the movie, it's kind of like the KH1 thing, where it's not really exactly like the movie, but it's close enough, but also does its own thing, which I think is quite nice. There's no point just copying stuff from the movie, it's a bit boring. So we got the hole, the hole here looking over the palace. Just like in the film, not quite as good a view. You see, I never really noticed how like the rocks back there, there's sort of brown desert rocks. I didn't really look at those before. As for actually inside, we have, wow, you got pillows. We've got lots of broken, ruined looking stuff, like scraps of cloth. We got this keyhole thing here we can interact with, of course. We got ropes and yeah, bits of cloth hanging off them. This place looks like it's falling apart. And boarded up windows, but hey, it's pretty chill and it's pretty secluded for Aladdin. And it's funny how with the story of Aladdin in KH1, it's a bit weird. He's still kind of living here, but he already knows Jasmine, and it's a weird story, but it kind of works. And it stopped them from just copying the movie, so that's kind of good. I prefer it when the Disney worlds don't just copy the movie. Yeah, we're not talking about story here anyway, we're looking at world design. So here we have the main street. This is the biggest sort of area in Agrabah itself. And here we can see little designs like spades over there. It's kind of interesting. More doors, of course, that we have to open with the keyholes. I'll show that. Well, there's actually something to show about that, but I'll show it in just a little bit. We throw pots around. There's another way back into the plaza, of course. See, here we are again. And I like how you can go pretty high here. And there's just little details everywhere, like that carpet hanging over the edge. These little windows, which obviously are 2D textures. But you're not supposed to look that close at them, and it's obviously, even if it's remastered, it's from 2002, so, I think we can cut a little break on that. But yeah, and you can see up here, you can see the hole in Aladdin's house, so, continuity. Very important thing to have. And there's another shelf. There's a whole bunch of watermelons there, just like in the film. And oh, okay, I guess when you try and lift a pot when it's too close to the wall, that happens. Oh dear. Oh look, there's some nice plates. It just happened again. Oh wow. Oh hi, this is Pot Spider. There's a whole load of carpets and rugs, of course. Now, I got to point out, it's quite nice the little details they've made into designing the carpet designs or different patterns and stuff. And I do wish we could get in to these, like I just tried to glide in there. It'd be kind of cool if you could like jump in there and there's a chest or something. I don't know, just a little bit extra, I guess. Oh, and it's very, very deep blue colour, and they made the sky here. It's very contrasting with the yellow, I've got to say. So there's a little offset section of Agrabah in this alley here, and there's not a whole lot. Again, it seems like you could go up there, but you can't quite. Here's another keyhole, and we got some stuff. We got a little pot, kind of reminds me of like an Olympus pot actually, like one of the trophies, and some little bits and bobs. There's an NPC here, one of those like rare NPCs I talked about. I did a video on that. They only appear after you defeat Jafar, but you don't quite leave the wild. That's when you can find them, otherwise they're not there. And you can destroy those, but it's okay because we got these ones here which actually don't disappear, and with high jump we don't have to worry at all. So yeah, they make sure that's there so you can at least get up. More little platforms that disappear, of course. Well, they don't disappear, but they fold inwards. And just let you know, the wall textures, I know it's a very, very small detail, I guess, but you know, just like the brickwork being exposed, the sort of run down look of this place. So here we have the bazaar, which is kind of oddly named because a bazaar is like a marketplace, like a Middle Eastern marketplace, and this doesn't really look like a marketplace, does it? It's completely empty, but maybe that's something to do with Jafar, or just because the worlds haven't been restored fully, or whatever, you know. It doesn't exactly look like a marketplace. It looks less like a marketplace than the alley. I think the names maybe should be swapped, but that's okay. Again, a very closed off section, and you can only get to it through the one door, and it's not even like a ground level door, so it's actually an area that is quite hidden, and you only need to really go here once. But we can see there's not a lot here to look at, obviously. There's like some planks on the floor, but you know, not very interesting. There's one thing I want to draw attention to, just a little detail here that's kind of nice. If we look at these keyholes here that open the different doors, or the grates rather, you can see the pattern there. That's actually matching with whatever pattern of whatever it opens, basically. So you can see this has the same pattern around it, so that opens up that, we know that. And that one over there with the red matches up with the pattern of the keyhole that opens that one. It's got like a red dotted pattern, so that's pretty nice. And you know, a lot of the patterns and also like the keyholes and that sort of thing, they are actually in the film, you can spot them. I won't show clips because I don't want to get like a copyright thing or whatever, but you can find them. And here in the palace gates, well, I better get rid of the pot scorpion first. Okay, scorpion's dealt with. And this one actually has some of the most amount of like shops and things, even though it's right by the gates. I gotta say, it's very... It doesn't feel like the main gate, does it really? Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at like the size of this area, and I'm trying to think of Prince Ali and everything with all the elephants, and like, is that gonna fit through here? I don't think so. Maybe it's a side entrance, who knows? Doesn't really look like one, but whatever, you know. But yeah, we got some more. As you can see, I'm just having a look at the different things here. More of these backgrounds, more of these pots and little bits and bobs, not a lot to look at. And of course the gates themselves. We go way up to the top here as well. Get a good look at everything from above. Glide over here is usually a chest over here, and yeah, you know, you can kind of see as well the different, like you can see how that would lead to the bazaar, and yeah, it's kind of nice, it makes sense. It's definitely designed, like I said, it's a kind of, it is a bit of a gamey design, I'll admit, but at least it does all connect properly like you'd expect from KH1 Worlds. Like you can see how the bazaar is over there, see, so that makes sense. Here's another example. There's that keyhole with that pattern, the purple pattern. And then if we go over here, we ignore these heartless. There you go, you see the purple dotted pattern. So that's nice. But now it's time to go to the desert. And yeah, usually you just fly over in this cutscene thing. But of course there is actually a couple of times where we can actually walk around the desert. So one of these times is actually near the start of the world when you come here. And the carpet takes you and you stay here for a while, and I just walked out of the room. Whoops. But you can just walk back again, that's fine. Yeah, see, so there's no obvious room boundaries, and there's also a room where you walk too far in either direction, you just end up back in Agrabah, of course. But it's kind of nice. I like how you can just chill here for a bit. There's even a temporary save point, of course, and you just talk to the carpet to actually go where you want to go. But from here we can see the vast desert. Like, there's nothing. We can't see anything in any direction, which I kind of like, because remember the lyric in the song, you know, it's flat and immense and the heat is intense. That's what it looks like here anyway. And I like the dust storms, of course, and sort of just the sand everywhere. I gotta say, I do quite like it. And I like the sky. The sky looks a bit more normal here, I guess. Looks a bit more how you'd expect. And of course, the other time we go to the desert is when we fight this guy, the Kurtzisa. So yeah, this one's pretty much the same thing, except we just got a defined area now because we have these pillars, of course. So let's go and have a look at one of the pillars. Yeah, these pillars have a sort of green pattern on them. And there's not much I can say about them, obviously, but there they are. They all look the same. Around the back of them is the same as well. It's not like they're not textured on the other side. The Kurtzisa would not be in my way. Yeah, so you can see there. So yeah, this is the same thing. It's the desert, just now we have predefined barriers so we can't escape. There's a pretty scary secret boss. I remember struggling with this guy back in the day. Of course, it's not too bad now, especially if you really want to be safe, just bring out Tinkerbell. But anyway, this isn't a boss breakdown. This is a world exploration. So let's get back and now let's look at the entrance to the Cave of Wonders. Actually, let's not look at the entrance to the Cave of Wonders just yet, because there's something I want to show, and that's when Agrabah gets blocked off when you need to make your way to Jafar. So as you can see here, there's like, they block off the main entrances, so you're forced to do the platforming. That's the thing with KH1, is they make you explore the world to get around, and they make you interact with stuff. And you can see more blocked off areas here in the main street, so yeah. And then, why not, let's look at the pot centipede as well. Again, I'm not looking at the boss itself, but I just need to hit him a few times so he does his thing. There we go. Smashes through there, and then we get a chance to just run through, no loading screen. We can't actually climb here because they put boxes conveniently so we can't escape. But it's always weird, isn't it, how you can just run through here without loading screens. I assume the loading screens are needed, like they're necessary so certain events can be triggered in the game or whatever, but it does kind of make me think, oh, imagine if this place you could just freely explore it without the loading screen. And if we look at the Cave of Wonders entrance, there's a moment where you can actually see it without Cave of Wonders head actually being there. When you save Aladdin, of course, but also after you defeat Jafar, it won't let you get back in here. As you can see, it's just a mound. So there's a little interesting thing if you didn't realise. This is also when those NPCs appear, like I said. And hey, I do like how it's nighttime here instead. I like the stars, I think it's pretty cool. And here we are in the actual version with the tiger head. And we can see all sorts of different textures on the rocks here. We can see the head itself. If we have a little peer down into there, we can see the stairway, which we can't actually walk down in the game. I guess we just walk down it, and then we end up somewhere in there when we actually go through it in-game. Fortunately, I can't really climb up him when it's not in the boss fight like you can in the boss, but oh well, it's okay. But like I said, there's all sorts of different textures on these rocks. And again, we can see the vastness of the desert out there, just kind of goes on forever. Oh, we can even... Oh, almost looks like we could go up there, but unfortunately invisible wall stops us. Alright, now here we are in the Cave of Wonders itself. And I really do like this area, especially in this game. It's just such a cool like dungeon vibe to it, I guess, with all the different traps and things. We can see here at the start we have this kind of very random looking archway, but kind of like an entrance, like a start point. We got a barrel here, we can attempt to throw it. Yeah, there we go, throw it down. I don't know why, I just find it fun to throw things down. And here's a way down into the bowels. That's the thing with this area, it's very like there's a top part and there's a bottom part, and they link to each other in different ways, and you can fall down, and there's different ways up, and stuff you do at the top affects the bottom and vice versa. It's a pretty cool design. Here we have the thing that rolls the balls out with like a couple of eyes there, kind of freaky. And there's the ball itself, off it goes, and boop, falls down. Yeah, there's plenty of different holes that lead you to different parts of the chambers down below. But in this entrance room, there's not a whole lot. It's pretty small. We'll get into the main part anyway in a second. But, you know, there's a little bit of platforming like with this pillar here, but not a whole lot. And it's also kind of nice just to look up and see just... There's a bit of a void up there. It's a little bit freaky. Oh yeah, and I guess I can try and attempt to... I don't have Blizzard hotkey, so it's a bit difficult. But I can try and attempt to put out these... That wasn't quite there, was it? Okay, no, these aren't going out. I have to try every one. So yeah, and these fires don't go out. It'd be kind of cool if they did, but maybe asking for a bit too much. Let's go into the actual hall now, the main part here, I'd say. Alright, here with the hall, this one's full of different traps and another rolling ball and lots of Heartless as well, which I've cleared out. We've already looked at a lot of the assets because they were in the previous room anyway. Here's another view of this mouth head piece thing. Again, I always wonder, like, even though it doesn't actually exist in game, I wonder what the other parts look like. Like, where does that like passage where the ball comes out of, where does that lead? Like, is there like a atrium above us where these balls all come from? Is there like a big pile of balls above us? I don't know. I'm going to stop saying balls. Anyway, the point is, I always just like to think about what's outside the rooms, even though in game there's not actually anything outside them. And I think when a game does that, that's when it's really doing well at world design, because you're imagining stuff that's not actually there. I think I've talked about that before with Traverse Town 1, but yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And we've got these little shooty water spray things here. They try and push you down to the bottom areas. Like, everything's trying to punish you, get you down to the bottom areas. That ball that could have hit me there. And of course you don't want to go down there anyway, because you need to do it to solve a puzzle so you can get to Jafar. And here we can even use them as platforms, you know? We can use a trap device as a platform. And we have a little sneak peek into the bottomless hall here. Even though it does have a bottom, because if you fall down you end up in the water, but whatever. Okay, the bottomless hall, this is pretty cool actually. I gotta say, it's a small room again, not a lot in here. We got these, of course, easier once you got high jump, but when you haven't, you can kind of mess this up a bit. But otherwise you can just jump up there or jump across, you know, whichever way you want to do it. And yeah, I do like, I like how you can see the room right over there. You can see where that comes out. More just little bits of interconnectivity, which are really nice and appreciated. Barrels strewn about the place because, you know, why not? Just things that just make it more interesting, especially when you're fighting Heartless and like a barrel breaks or whatever. Just these little bits and bobs to make the world feel a bit more interactable. Now let's go down to the bottom areas now. So this place is a bit of a maze, I guess, but once you get the hang of it, it's fine. We've got all these different black sort of voids that lead to different rooms and lots of puzzles you can do. So here's something I pushed down from earlier with the Yellow Trinity. You don't really need it once you got high jump and glide or whatever, but you can do it anyway. This I've already done. But in the hidden room here we have this, which opens up down here, opens up these two chests, so that's quite nice. And of course this is something we have to break. So we hit it and it breaks a pillar upstairs. I'll show you that in a second anyway. Breaks a pillar upstairs and that lets us go to Jafar. So again, you know, I like how the things are kind of connected. And it's this cool vibe, I guess. This feels more like a cave, obviously. And we've got the swimming to slow you down, obviously. Just something to make it a little bit harder for you, to make life just a little bit more difficult, because that's KH1. It's not going to handy things a lot of the time. Okay, we can also like swim up and down these waterfalls. It looks a little bit weird when you do it. Swimming down seems alright, but swimming up is where it looks a bit strange. More things we can interact with, even though I've already done it, obviously. But you just need to do all these things if you want to get everything down here, or you can come back again in classic fashion with this game. Come back with high jump and glide, and it's very easy. You know, it's, do you want these things early, or do you just want to come back and get them later for completion's sake? Like, there's a thing we can push up, which we don't really need, but you need it to begin with anyway. And here's a monkey statue in case you wanted a closer look at that. And over here we have the dark chamber. So yeah, this is a good one to kind of get your bearings. It's probably the biggest room here, I guess. And we got another sort of thing just below the waterline we can step on and go back into the relic chamber through this way, of course, which we can also go to the silent chamber, which I've already been in. You know, it all connects together. Also, if you want a quick look at these bubbles, I guess, if you want to look at the texture of the water, there they are. There's the little bubbles popping up. That's kind of nice. It does show its age a little bit, doesn't it? But I like how the waterfall is quite clearly not curved, like it's clearly just a few flat sections. That's quite funny. Okay, but if we go back upstairs now, and here's the treasure room. There's a bunch of white mushrooms in here, so I'll just get rid of these quickly. And yeah, it's full of treasure. It's the treasure room. It makes a lot of sense. We have a lot of assets here. I reckon some of them are probably like reused. Like, there's just pots that have different, like obviously they're just gold now because of course they're gold. And here we have it. This kind of looks like it's smiling. That's a little bit strange. I don't think it is, but that crack makes it look like it's smiling. Oh, there's more fire we can't put out, unfortunately. And usually you'd use the monkeys to propel you up and get the chests. Again, we don't need to do it once we've got... Oh, another one of these things that you can float on. I always like finding these. And we can see like behind, there's obviously some void back there. There's obviously some more stuff, probably more treasure, but yeah, we don't need to see that. And usually there's a blockade here, and this is what it looks like. So that's what it looks like before you crack it and bring it down from below, of course. So there's that. Okay, the lamp chamber. This is where you fight Jafar in his first fight, and this seems like it's way at the core of the Cave of Wonders. We've got this real like cave look here, very very old looking, The big rock mound in the middle, which has come back even though there was a hole there for the other Jafar boss fight. There's the entrance doors if you want to see the pattern on that. And you can see the monkeys at the top, they're holding either a yellow and red crystal or they're just holding a green one with both hands. Here we have the keyhole. We got these little spiky rocks here because I don't know why, but they're there. And the keyhole itself has obviously been locked, so it's gone. But we can see next to it on these pillars, we can see little keyhole designs. So that's pretty cool. And I noticed one thing is that over on the right, there's just like a statue thingy. But over on the left here, there's like a little platform jutting out. It makes me think like, what if you could actually go up there? What if there was something that came out there? You can see the statue on the right side, but over here is this thing. I don't know why it's asymmetrical. It's a little bit weird, the fact that that's different. But I just thought it was kind of cool to look at. I don't know, it just seemed like an interesting design choice. Oh, and here's a look at the statue itself. Some sort of animal, I guess? Now then, of course, there's another version of this room, and that's when we need to fight Genie Jafar. So here's Jasmine passed out. There's the keyhole, still there, unlocked. So there's that if you want to see that. And of course, instead of the big stone mound in the middle of the room, we've got this huge hole which has been created. And you can see down into the boss area there. That's quite cool, I like that. It's very imposing, isn't it? It's like, oh boy, something's about to go down. Still kind of cool to see this place, looking different. I like it when levels change and things. And of course, since it is a part of the world design, we have to have a look at the boss room, which means Jafar's going to be trying to irritate me while I do this. But yeah, here's the big lava room. If we have a look, you can see the top, of course, with the light and the other area. And you may notice, I'll have a look at just the wall. You notice how the heat effect is very similar to the one in Atlantica, like the water effect. So it's sort of screens like pulsing and moving in and out. I don't know if you've noticed that before, but that's quite cool. Oh, hi Jafar. Let's just avoid him. Yeah, since I had to go back in the game, by the way, that's why I've got obviously the Deep Jungle Keyblade here, because I don't have the Agrabah one yet. And we can see more of what I was talking about. Of course, here we have some just more interesting level design things. We have the lava coming out of these holes, which, you know, you wonder where does that come from. And of course the lava pool that Jafar sinks into there. And just the general design here. There's just different moving platforms, and it's kind of like a platforming boss in a weird way. I suppose it is really, because, you know, Iago's floating around the place and you've got to follow him, and sometimes he goes somewhere where you have to jump across the platforms and things and you have to wait for something to move. So it's a bit of a weird workaround to the fact that you can't really smack away at Genie Jafar. It took Cage to use the carpet to achieve that. And finally there's a little bit more world design, because of course this is quite a big world. So what we actually have to do now is the carpet escape thing, which if you die on, you don't actually, like, it doesn't fail, you can just leave, which is odd. But yeah, we might have a look around. Well, I say look around, we can't really control this very much, but we can see here we are deep in the sort of cave area itself. And if we go past all these rocks, it takes a little bit of a while to get past this bit. And we exit here into another lava area. We go up, we got this little almost Greek looking thing, actually, I gotta say. And we got these areas full of lava and things crumbling, and just, it's pretty cool, even if it doesn't really control very well, as you can see. We got more of the heads that do the water spout thing there, but they're not spouting in this case. And then we can see the actual stairwell up that we couldn't go down in the actual level design. So that kind of makes me think that because that stairwell's there, we actually do go through that on foot, but we just don't see it maybe, and we just end up in that first entrance hall area. That's kind of interesting. But with that, we're about done with Agrabah. That's it. We got the main city area and then the Cave of Wonders area. I gotta say, I do prefer the Cave of Wonders. I think it's quite interestingly designed. Obviously the city has its puzzles and a different interconnectivity. It's a very nice world for interconnectivity. And I would say Agrabah in general is like a quintessential KH1 world. It's got platforming, loads and loads of platforming. It's got interconnectivity, nice room design in that way. I guess it's got that thing of it's familiar to the movie, but it's not exactly the same. And it's got puzzles. It's got lots of puzzles as well. So honestly, it's probably one of the best worlds in the game. It's my second favorite Disney world after Deep Jungle. And I can see why people maybe prefer this. I can also see the problems. Like, it really does feel like there's just something missing. Maybe if we could go into the palace, or maybe if, I don't know, maybe this city was a little bit bigger, like the main street was a bit wider, felt a little bit more like Agrabah itself rather than this weird claustrophobic, very gamey design. I don't think it's bad at all. It's, like I said, my second favourite Disney area, and I think in terms of the Disney worlds in this game, it's got a leg up on most of them. Like, it's better than Monstro, it's better than Neverland to me, it's better than Atlantica. You know, Wonderland's pretty close, but this has more to it than Wonderland, and I think, yeah, I would say this is my second favourite. I can see why people probably might be their favourite as well, but Deep Jungle just edges it for me. But yeah, that's it. If there's anything interesting you want to say about Agrabah, something that you quite like about the design, or just something interesting about the world itself that you like, of course leave it in the comments. And next time I'll be doing probably Halloween Town, because, you know, Halloween's coming up. I want to be consistent with the theme, so if I just do Monstro and then Atlantica, I won't have time to do Halloween Town. I want to get Halloween Town done for Halloween, and then we'll go to Monstro. So it is technically a route you can do, so, you know, that's fine. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.